So, welcome to the Teachers Academy. We will go onto the book in a little while. Just two interesting pieces of information for everyone. We are about to start Masterclass 2026. Why 2026? Because we'll enter year 2025, 2026. As we enter 2026, we come up with a new book. And the new book is Productive Failure. Productive Failure, the author will also visit us sometime in the year. So you will have fun meeting him. We will keep you well informed when the author joins us. We will keep our top up strength to 500 no matter how many registrations come. So it has to be on first come, first serve. Please do come at the opening time of 5:30. We are very particular about our time. Today is an exceptional day. We are reading the last chapter of Shomie Das's book. If all goes well, we'll try and complete it. So we'll focus on that, which means that we want to time the opening of Productive Failure with our retreat, which is next week. So at the retreat, we always launch some new initiatives. So this time we hope to unfold the pages of Productive Failure. That's all from my side as far as updates are concerned. Back to the future. Shomie Das, the man who saw tomorrow. This is where we are today. Let's see what happens now. Over the last two sections and 20 odd chapters, I've taken you on a journey of sorts. Rather, four journeys towards one end. That of Raj's journey and mine, individually and together, and then our path with Shomie, master, and mentor. The course of these 25 years that I have walked you through has also largely mirrored the journey of education in India. So this is your life, most of you teachers here, because these are the years of this century. From legacy schools to government and proliferating private institutions that serve all strata of society. It's been a journey that should interest a social scientist. A changing world, India's demographics, the needs of a young and growing population, and the evolving regulatory frameworks have combined to make the education sector different in several ways from what it was 25 years ago. At the same time, delays in introducing changes and clunkiness in execution have conspired to keep several other things at are almost the same point where they were a quarter of a century ago. The starting point of the story of Oak Ridge was at this intersection of the old and the new, with the objective of forging a unique way forward. What then was the way forward? While Shomi, Raj, and I agreed on several aspects, we all had our own perspectives on what lay ahead for education in India and, by extension, for India's future. So far, I have been a raconteur for all the previous stories and thoughts shared with you. In this section, you will hear from Shomi and Raj about what the future holds in their own voices. Shomi first. Deschool the roadmaps. So, Shomi is talking to you. I am glad I have the honor and privilege to carry forward these words as his messenger. God bless him where he is. I bow down to a mentor to hundreds of us, thousands of us, millions of us. In his 89 years of life, he touched over 100 schools. Recently, on 16th March, we celebrated his life and work in Delhi. There's a small video on that on happyteacher.in, our blog. Enjoy that. You have fantastic stories of Shomi's life. Some of us prefer videos. Go ahead. That's your reading. That's your watching. Please do that. Chapter 23, Shomidas, the man who saw tomorrow, Deschool the roadmap, Shomidas. It seems you want to hear from me what I believe lies ahead, or should lie ahead for education in India. This then is both a wish and a roadmap, if you don't mind the expression. A society that is deschooled is my idea of the ideal. What do I mean by deschooled? The Oxford Dictionary meaning of schooled is not educated or taught, mind you, but trained in a particular activity or in a particular way. Or, in other words, trained to conform. When the beauty of being human lies in our unique individuality, what can schooling achieve for either the individual or society at large? This might sound strange coming from a teacher of so many decades, but it is precisely because I have seen the education system from up close, and I say this. Coming back to schooling, I cannot take the credit of coining this intriguing word. Sorry, I should say deschooling. It comes from Deschooling Society, a wonderful book by Austrian author Ivan Illich that I highly recommend. Gurdeep, I hope you read the book.
No,
Okay, you
this
have
book.
the book, don't
No, this book you're talking about by
you?
Austrian author.
Yeah, Deschooling Society.
No, I'll read.
Yeah, please read it.
Yes.
And I think it's important to read this book now after you've read Shomie's book because that's where you will find a lot. It's in Indian rupees, it's very easily available. It's an old book which has been reprinted. If you don't have a copy, any teacher, whoever wants a book gift, just buzz me. And at this note, we've announced a very exciting offer. We give this book to you free. The price of the book is almost 2,500. All you have to do is register for the masterclass and sign up for the newsletter. A newsletter costs 3,000 an annum. You get masterclass free, which costs 3,000. You get a book worth 2,500 free. So your 3,000 effectively give you 5,500 approximately to your pocket, and add to that 51 sessions of learning forward. In his 1971 book, Illich articulates his polemical ideas about modern education and talks about schools at places that, through their consumerism and system of institutional hierarchies, almost negate the original purpose, that of an individual's fullest development. This is a very powerful paragraph, and this morning I had a very nice conversation with Umesh Vyas. Umesh Vyas, I explained him and we talked about this that schools are perhaps the best business we ever created in the 2000s or perhaps year 2001. You're right. The last 2000 years, I don't think there's any better business than schooling. And the beautiful part is this process, like we use the word conform, essentially works in putting us all in army order, or it drafts us into a regiment so that we don't misbehave. That's what people think. Perhaps we're asking questions. Perhaps we can be troublemakers. So schooling was created to school us. American author and educator John Holt, a committed advocate of unschooling, took Illich's idea about education further. He said, a deschooled society should be a society in which everyone shall have the widest and freest possible choice to learn whatever he wants to learn. Don't worry about the he, it includes the she. Whether in school or in some altogether different way. However, as tempting as a siren song of widest and freest possible choice in education is, in a country such as India, one cannot stray from formalized institutional systems. We must, of course, remember that Illich and Holt lived and worked in the context of the developed world, where education's primary function was not that of the most potent survival tool available. So, what do we do then in India to make the idea of deschooling appeal to both our instinct and logic. Perhaps define deschooling as excising or at the very least minimizing the particular ways that negatively impact individual blossom. This refers to the student centered learning you can read on the blog. This means making the current education system as convivial as possible for the child. Convivial, comfortable, student centered, and working towards a greater partnership towards parents and between parents and children. Engaging with parents, that's the first part. In the two earlier sections of this book, Naga, or NP as I call him, has taken you through how as educators, he has individually, mutually, and collectively tried to ensure the child's place at the center of the institutions we have been part of. How we have navigated within regulatory frameworks and also advocated with the government on issues pertaining to education. NP has left the question of parents for me, and with good reason. A more engaged partnership with parents is integral to my vision for the future of education. We must not forget that parents are the second most important stakeholders in our education, individual's education. Often, their child's education and even their own is dependent on the said child's academic performance. This, as we know, unfortunately leads to parents exerting pressure on children, thus increasing the already heavy burden that children struggle under. When parents become part of the formal education process, they begin to understand the different pressures on children. At Oak Ridge, we try to involve the parents in a lot of activities. In the library for book recommendations, in the dining hall for recipes, and for career counseling as well. If one starts to think about it, there are endless possibilities and ways of involving parents as more than just anxious financiers of their children's education. A better partnership with parents where their participation ensures that teachers become facilitators rather than those who have to school the child is the ideal scenario for a child to not just survive but thrive. The humanities quotient. So we at My Good School always talk humanities, humanness. And if you go to the website of schooleducation.com, we have kind of refreshed the website. I'm going to take a little pause here and actually take you to the website, as many of us are here. So the entry for the gateway for you people who come here is a domain called diljito.com. So as you type diljito.com, I'm showing you the website in context of humanities and what we profess. So this is how the page will unfurl. You will join now. It's absolutely open. There's no charge. There's no login required. This is the Teachers Academy page. You can sign up for the masterclass. We have the video library of the masterclass streaming here. This is a new feature we have added today. So if you miss this masterclass, you can always go to diljito.com. 29th March is here. New video will come here about 7 p.m. today. You can subscribe to the masterclass by subscribing to the weekly. So you get weekly plus masterclass plus productive failure. That's the added offer for the month of April. Little bit about the masterclass, how we are recognized as a global innovation, and some professional journals who have printed data on how we have made things happen. We support the Teachers app. Please use it. Yeah, let's go back to humanities. So when we talk of humanities and learning for life, this is what I wanted to highlight. So the whole focus of humanities is to bring out the humaneness in you. And you look at this learning for life map, which we have put on the website today. And this is the crux of entire learning. So the entire book, which we have just about come to the last chapter, if you look at these 10 elements of personal and social development, this is where it lies. So identity, spiritual aesthetics, decision making, health, intellectual growth. These five attributes form the core of your personal development. Social development starts at communication, relationship, employment opportunities, citizenship, environmental awareness. Now, this really is what the best part of what the book says. And when Shomie writes about the humanities quotient, it really synchronizes with our thought. The one sided science oriented learning system in India is one thing. I wish I could be done away with it. Take a class 11 or 12 science student. They hardly go into any class where they are taught anything. It is only in the laboratories that they learn. It is extremely important that students get the sound idea of subjects like history, geography, and English. A sense of history and geography is integral to human knowledge and ability. I cannot stress enough the importance of understanding the geography of a place, the issues the people of the place face. It is important to read authors who have written about the place. All this is vital to get a sense of the world we live in. It makes me sad to see children going to a place with no idea of the place. At the very least, they should know the connectivity, the history, the issues, and concerns of the people. At Doon, by Doon he means Doon School. At Doon, we made it a point to teach children the geography of Dehradun, the mountains, the valleys, how the rivers flow. We had a teacher, it's not Gujral Singh, it's Gurdeep Singh. In those days, class tests would be written on the board, and then the teacher would suddenly ask, name the bird that's sitting on the window. We would suddenly play Wagner and ask them to identify the composer. Can you imagine what this brought to a child? Wagner is a Western musician. Parents are our most important resources. Towards this end of nurturing a child to be more, I always insisted on meeting the parents, if possible, even visiting them, so that we had an idea of their home life. I want to give you an example here. At the Fabindia school, we had a policy where we would say that in the year, if a class teacher has 25 to 30 children, at least once in the year, the class teacher must end up in the home of the child. And that's how we built what we called a My Good School philosophy and a learning community. Do they have books at their home? Is there music and laughter in their house? I understand that given the numbers in India, it is impossible for teachers to know all the parents. But we can and should try to get a sense of a child's background so that we can identify where the child needs our support. Multiplicity and diversity. What about policy? Over the years, governments have come up with reports and plans that are sensible and forward looking. For instance, the new education policy or NEP 2020 is well formulated and well meaning, as was the 1966 Kothari Commission report. Sadly, the government does not have the power, even if it has the willingness to push through recommendations. One of the complicating factors is that education is a state subject and compliance with guidelines depends upon the state concerned. Thus, uniformity of policy or implementation is missing. However, in some ways, this has proved beneficial for India. For instance, the existence of different state education boards encourages multiplicity and diversity. This is reflected in the fact that a large number of students from boards across the country hold their own and do well in diverse fields, contributing significantly to nation building efforts. Several of our state boards have very good books. Telangana is one. The West Bengal board is also good, as is the Bihar board. The problem is the learning systems that focus on knowledge based education, not an inquiry based approach. And thus, rote learning becomes the logical tool to do well academically. The universe of universities. Another mindset or practice that makes me unhappy is the tendency to shove people into the university system. This often slows down an individual. After class 12, an individual should ideally have the skills to get and keep a job. Universities, under the guise of providing choice, can straitjacket a person's intellectual development. And even in universities, we remain focused on what other people thought and said, not what we are thinking. How then will academic thought progress? Let us take the US for example. Their learning system is not knowledge based and curiosity is rewarded. For instance, they allow accelerated learning for certain subjects. A child may be in class 5 but do know mathematics and physics at class 7 level. The system enables and encourages that. I've also seen schools where they divide their classes vertically. Standard 10, 11, and 8 are in one physical room, and the older children teach the younger ones, thus consolidating learning for those doing the teaching. Schools should be free to innovate, taking into account children's varying abilities and needs. In other words, to de-school. And this is what I wish for in India. Coming back to the mindset of university education as mandatory, in India we talk of vocational education with a sneer. They are for the poor, whether in ability or resources. However, in Europe and North America, choosing to take up a trade after school is not at all frowned upon. In fact, a certain measure of earning your keep is encouraged from early adolescence. With this comes a sense of responsibility, independence, and of course, confidence that cannot be measured in academic parameters. However, at the end of the day, the numbers in India make most things an impossibility. The only system possible is to shove all the children into the confines of a classroom. From four walls and a classroom. If there was only one thing I could change, I would change this the system of confining children to within the four walls of a classroom. At Doon School, classrooms were allotted to a specific teachers, and these teachers remained in these rooms. The students moved around. This meant that after every 45-minute period, children could stretch their legs. Children need movement. It is important for learning and attention as well as mental health. Plus, given the unique constraints we face in India, the diversity across socio-economic and cultural strata, our sheer numbers, the ingrained mindset, and above all, the absolute need to survive, the child is left with nowhere to turn. With well wishers all around them, parents, teachers, schools, and the system, and the government at large, we still end up failing our children. The rise of anxiety, depression, and other mental issues, health issues in minors, the rise in cases of suicides, and the corresponding helpless frustration of parents all point to the pressure on children. The answer goes back to the teachers, the classroom, and the school. If schools could at least understand the benefits of a deschooling approach and work to limit the particular ways that negate the possibility of individuals blossoming, we could do so much. For me, this means consolidating our beliefs in a school system where children are at the center, teachers are facilitators, parents are partners, and the government is an effective enabler. I think what we will do, we will read the quotient of love also. Gurdeep, is that okay with you?
Yes, sir,
It's a
definitely.
short
That's
chapter.
fine.
It's a short
Huh?
chapter. And
Okay.
we always disturb your Apple card when we read another chapter. You plan for one and we read two.
I'll edit the post.
Thank you. You'd like to show people the post out here for a second and then read this chapter? I think that'll
Yes,
give
yes,
people
we
a break
can do
also.
that.
So let me do that. So the post is available at the Teachers Academy blog. Address is happyteacher.in. There is a happy teacher in each one of you. As simple as that. And that's why we are called happyteacher.in. So when you go to happyteacher.in, smile at yourself, and at the happyteacher.in, after you have smiled, read this beautiful summary Gurdeep has put, the D School Roadmap. So there are some interesting thoughts which come about. Look at these thoughts and comment below. Not in the selection box to pay, but you comment here. So write your comment on deschooling, what you thought about this chapter. What comes to your mind, top of the mind? Don't give us notes from the chapter. Don't tell us Shomie said this is right. No. Tell us what you feel Shomie has not said and you want to say. That's reflection. There are questions here which you can try and answer. That's how you can comment. So that'll give the comments a bit of a structure. So we go back and we come back to chapter 24, Quotient of Love, Rajashekar Yarlagada. So Raj and Naga are two partners who meet Shomie, and when they started, they also had another person. There were three partners, one who went away. So Raj and Naga today are also together. And last time, if some of us were here, we have a unique book in our library here, which is signed by Raj and Naga both. If anyone wants an author signed copy of Shomi Das, you can please put in a request to us. We will get it signed from the author and send it to you. Naga has taken you ably through our stories already, and Shomi has written about his hopes for a child studying in a school in India in the future. What then is left for me to talk about? But I'll give it a shot. The roadmap of education in India is too vast and complex, a topic for me to take on, so I'll dwell upon a simple things, such as working collaboratively with teachers, parents, and the government as edupreneurs to ensure that children learn to navigate through their lives with joy, love, compassion, and dignity. Seems like a tall task, not really. I cannot and will not talk about systemic mindsets and practices, but what individual entrepreneurs, schools, and teachers can work towards. Mindset mantra. The first on our mindsets, we need to realize that employers look for social skills. These are the foundations of leadership skills. That's why on our website, I showed you those 10 skills which will always be skills for the future. And that's called learning for life. Leadership is not about technical skills. How much you know mathematics, physics, chemistry, languages. Leadership is about the power of influence. So understanding people and communicating with people have to be worked towards. Go back in history. How many people in 2000 years have perhaps done class 10? Very, very small fraction. Think about it. So many innovations, so many things from Kabir's Dohas to Guru Nanak's travels. No one did 10 plus 2. The International Baccalaureate system rightfully stresses these, and thus the children grow up to be confident, sociable, and empathetic. But schools don't need IB affiliation to adopt this approach. They just need to think out of the box, that's all. The importance of diversity. Another aspect where schools fail terribly in India is in acknowledging, addressing, and including differences. This is all the more unfortunate because we, as a country, are so diverse. At this point, I'll take a pause and I will mention our initiative of DEI, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion. You'll be delighted to know that from our 25 schools this year, 6 schools are the ones we will support, and 19 schools will get together to support those 6 schools. It's a very broad parameter. We sign up 25 schools this year, and we have signed up 25 this year too. Our schools are a remarkable coalition where they will volunteer time, they will volunteer resources, and they will share heart and soul. And that's the importance of diversity. We celebrate diversity at our My Good School retreat, which is happening on 11th April. You'll find details on the website. One way of inculcating the sense of diversity is to ensure that in a school, teachers represent as many states as possible. India has 28 states and 8 union territories, each with a distinctive cultural practices, festivals, culinary habits, and languages. Schools must draw upon this cultural plurality. At Oak Ridge, since financial consideration put a cap on the number of expat teachers we could hire, we engaged around 10 interns from Europe, from Europe for music, dance, foreign language training, and so on for a stipend. They are not made class teachers right away. And this is how we started adding more diversity and giving our students a wider exposure. Just give me a moment. We've had a power failure. I just need to change the Wi-Fi network if I need to. No, I don't. That's okay. This will work. So we're okay. We have a backup Wi-Fi. I'll just switch in a second. I may go off and come in. Don't worry. It's a matter of pay. I will be here. Salary of a teacher with that of an IT professional, it amounts to almost nothing. Also, students from the southern parts of India are more geared towards pursuing medical or engineering degrees. Inevitably, this creates paucity of good teachers. Most governments invest in professional degree colleges. So once all the academically competent candidates enter engineering and medicine, the last set heads towards non-professional college degrees. And this is why they have eventually become teachers. But this is in the south primarily. In the rest of India, especially in the east, large number of students pursue degrees in literature and the social sciences. We need to tap into these non-medical, non-engineering pool of candidates and ensure that their paid salaries commensurate with other industries. Teaching the teacher. Thank you. This is where we are. We are at the Teachers Academy and we love each one of you who takes time out to join us. We at the Teachers Academy bow down to every teacher. We at the Teachers Academy love every teacher who comes by and puts their heart and soul. So thank you for being with us. Teaching the teacher. Teacher training is another absolute imperative. It's obvious that kids never learn from teachers, then don't like or love. If a student has a favorite teacher, they tend to focus more on the subject that teacher teaches. It is not because the child loves that subject more, it's because the child's liking for the teacher concerned. Thank you, Manisha. Thank you, Kunal. Thank you, Gurdeep. I love you for what you all do, and that's the liking. And I'm so happy that you are here every time. It's our love which generates learning. So please understand that without love, there cannot be learning. And true love is the love between a teacher, preacher, peer, teacher, teaching. It's 360-degree. Whenever you're learning from someone, consider that person as God gifted. And that's the beauty. This interesting link, a child's liking for a teacher and the propensity to concentrate on the subject taught by that teacher, has been the focus of research studies. At Oak Ridge, we regularly brainstorm on fostering a healthy relationship and bonding between teachers and students. We introduced several out of the box, or you can even say jack in the box sort of initiatives. We made it a rule that every fortnight teachers would have to play with the kids, not just cricket, but simple old fashioned games. Manisha, are you getting ready for old fashioned games at the retreat?
Yes, sir.
Good.
We
There
thought
was
of a few games for the retreat.
fantastic. So get ready. We have to play the old fashioned games. That's a very important lesson from the book. There was a little resistance initially. Some teachers said, okay, every fortnight, the kids can go play and come back. I clarified that this would not do. Teachers have to play with the kids. That, though, wasn't the end of the matter. A few days later, the principal told me that if we did this every 4 days, it would be very difficult to complete the syllabus on time. My response was simple. In a class of around 25 students, 4 or 5 would always be undisciplined. If we did this, we might discipline those students and also finish the syllabus. I managed to convince the principal and the teachers, and we began with simple games. Let me tell you that the exuberance of the students was something I or they will never forget. Another unconventional initiative I took was asking the teachers one day to bring cooked food for their students. Maybe samosa, poha, or whatever they liked. Some teachers said that they were not good cooks. Some said it was difficult to get all the ingredients they needed to cook. I asked them to choose whatever dish they wanted to cook and said office would provide the necessary ingredients. I told them to just get a dabba from their home, put the food in the container, and take it to the class so that the students think that the teachers had brought it from home. This way, a child will feel loved. It didn't cost much to cook for 25 students, but the bonding that grew between the teachers and the students was something to remember and cherish. Manisha, at the retreat, do this. Feed everyone well. It's important. Circling back to our philosophy, as children don't learn from teachers they don't like or love. Schools can always work towards enhancing student-teacher bonding, partnering with parents. Another aspect the schools must work on is partnering with parents. For instance, at a school where we had 3,000 students, I said that the teachers should invite all the mothers for a coffee, meet at Starbucks. And we did call the 3,000 parents to Starbucks. At first, we envisaged this as sort of a parent teacher meeting. But we realized that when 10 parents meet up, they can often start finding faults with different things. We didn't want this, so we identified some teachers whose people skills we trusted. We also designed an invitation like, Dear, I'm happy to have your child in my class, but I want to know more about how your child is at home, how they behave and respond to different things, how much they play every day, how they divide time between TV and homework. This will help me understand them better and interact with them more effectively in the classroom. So the mothers started coming and talking about their children. But we didn't want to do that within the school environment. So onwards to Starbucks. Starbucks, sorry. Every class teacher was to take their parents to Starbucks in batches. It seems there's a Starbucks ad in here or what. This too was great fun. The parents felt that the teacher cared about the children and were concerned about their development. That in turn fostered a bond where the teacher and the parent became a team, working together for the development of the child. We must remember that such initiatives will at first invariably face resistance from teachers. We have said this again and again. And recently, I shared a post somewhere in the WhatsApp. Do teachers hold back change? There was a very interesting post come out. Do read it. Scroll up your WhatsApp group. No one likes change, but once the process starts, the teachers themselves will devise more such initiatives. Your being here is a change in itself. As Naga has already mentioned, I'm a great believer in the love quotient. So is he, and Shomie too, though the phrase is mine. If we bring this quotient of love and joy to schools, children's confidence and compassion will bloom. Achievements, success, and contribution will follow for the individual, the family, the community, and the nation as a whole. What more can we do? What more can we want? Now, this is Lessons of Life from Naga. It's a very short reference, so I think we will read it. You want to read it now or you want to read it later? Manisha, you have time for Lessons of Life on your retreat?
Yes, sir, we'll do that.
Yeah, it's a very small chapter. We can finish it now if it's a very small chapter. It's not big.
Okay, sir.
That will give fair justice to all the three people. We are reading them together. Is everyone good if we finish the chapter? We may go over by 2-3 minutes, not more than that. Can I have a hands up? Can I have an okay from some of you? If you are here, if you are liking what we do, if you want me to finish it, I'd love to finish it. But for my love to explore, I need you to say yes. Are you coming to the retreat? Kunal is asking Gurdeep, are you coming for the retreat? Answer him in the chat box.
Okay, I think there was some network issue. I'll come in the month of November.
Okay.
Yes.
Kunal, you got an answer. So, Lessons for Life, chapter 25, the last and the concluding chapter. We will close the book by Shomie Das today. At the retreat, we will open Productive Failure. Lessons for Life. As I've said repeatedly, my theoretical knowledge about education was extremely limited. And yes, here's a candid admission: my understanding and evaluation are all geared towards success in examination, in other words, result oriented. Mind you, I am result oriented even today. Otherwise, we wouldn't have survived in this huge competitive domain, let alone thrived. But let me define what I understand by the word result. We built Oak Ridge as per Shomie's wishes and instructions and facilitated as far as we could his dreams in terms of creating for children an ideal place for learning. In the process, I realized that growing up, we'd also lived the Oak Ridge model. Sounds strange, doesn't it? Let me explain. I'm not talking about smart classrooms or even inspirational teachers, but the practical and spiritual underpinnings of a way of life that shaped our response to situations. At the Zilla Parishad school where we studied, good teachers were a rarity. But constant interaction with nature and non-stop navigation through risks and challenges made our days so intense that we never understood the meaning of the word bored. We went to school, we went to the farm, we had domestic chores, and I talk of an entire set of people, not just Raj and I. This gave us a constant sense of accomplishment. It was not systematized, it was all by default. Yet, while not much in the classroom made sense for me, we learned many life lessons. If we don't have this conditioning, this experience, this book would not have happened. A successful future is thus not necessarily the effect of academic learning only. The AI of academics. AI is right here. Today, academic learning does not even require teachers. Teaching can happen through AI. This would be faster and better with stronger academic delivery, almost guaranteed. The important thing to note is the responsibility and discernment is not taught simply through passive academic learning or even active academic learning. Humans are inspired by other humans. This is the primary role of a teacher. A teacher of the future is one who inspires learning. This can only happen if there is love of learning and a corresponding desire to involve children in that quest. That calls for a different level of dedication to nurturing young minds. Educating for change. Undeniably, most of the jobs we know today will be replaced by technology. Let me mention at the Learning Forward Foundation, we employ no one. It is equally possible that new jobs will emerge. Only 3 years ago, tech companies were hiring aggressively and offering sky high salaries. Today, campus placements have gone down considerably. And even close friends or family cannot help one get a secure job. The very concept of absolutely secure jobs is gone. So, long jobs are based on what you know, but tomorrow it will be about how well you adapt. Thus, education needs to foster the ability to handle change and uncertainty. We, in our socio-economic stratum of privilege, provide our children perhaps too much security and protection. Thus, they grow up a false sense of reality. After so many years of living padded within cotton wool, they are not prepared to handle the changeability of real life. For me, the education of the future needs to enable children to handle uncertainty and navigate the shocks of change, to prepare children to live independently and to become productive, whether as a part of a cohort of fellow professionals, a community, a country, or as a citizen of the world. Life skills and the ability to be independent are directly proportional to the success of an individual. Look at children growing up in underprivileged communities. They are adaptable, flexible, street smart, and yes, they thrive too. Children at all ages need to face appropriate risks and challenges. If we only protect them from the suffering instead of conditioning them to handle suffering, they will fall at the first barrier, and then we will have failed them. By we, I mean the inextricably linked education system and parenting system. We need to groom for autonomy. And for this, we need to reorient ourselves so that the schools are not expected to be merely rank generating factories. The Reorient Express. So, as we are about to get off the express train we are on today, so let's go to the Reorient Express. Parents are not unwilling to change their mindset. When we started Oak Ridge and the parents learned that there were no textbooks, they were shocked. But they adapted and became willing partners in the process. To summarize, true education in a changing world must inculcate the capacity for change. The present is unrecognizable from the past, and no one knows what the future will be. Also, we cannot blame the government for every drawback in the system. Governments in such a vast and diverse country as ours are doing what they can. Now, educators and parents must step up and foster a sense of learning and the ability to deal with change while instilling human values. So this is what we believe in at Good Schools Alliance. Education will serve its purpose better if it is local, relevant, sustainable, and leads to containment rather than being global, irrelevant, unsustainable, and which does not lead to satisfaction. The indices of success need to shift from material ones, such as the number of cars, bungalows, and portfolios, to a happiness index, as in Finland. Only then can we claim to have been educators in the real sense. We have a format of an happiness survey, which we did in Kunal's school, the Fab India school. I'm not sure whether it's done now or not. So if anyone's interested, we'd be happy to explain to you what the happiness survey is and how we did it term after term with the parents till we actually ended up sharing the joy of learning and building the Fab India school together. End notes. I've come to the end of my narrative. But before I finally wrap up, a few words on what made me write this book. Multiple reasons, actually, though all linked by a common thread, and that is education for tomorrow. This book was written in the hope that there might be a little nugget of value for entrepreneurs venturing into education, for teachers hoping to bring in change, and for parents who want the world for their children. In short, anyone deeply invested in education as a concept and practice. This is exactly why we wrote My Good School also. So the thought behind writing these two books is very similar. The first thing we did was make sure that we didn't remain ivory tower theorists. So, like Naga, we also went out practically and worked on the ground. While committed to give shape to our ideas, we have tried our best to provide the children of Oak Ridge an empowering environment, their parents a worthy partnership, our team members' work satisfaction, and those who invested in our dream a robust return. Those of you who have kept us company through the 20 odd chapters of this book would have surely figured out by now that Raj, Shomie, and I are committed optimists. At the core of this optimism is the belief that as far as school education goes, we can make tomorrow better than today. As Shomie says, we look forward to a tomorrow where within enabling regulatory frameworks created by governments, edupreneurs can empower teachers to be facilitators. That's our solid belief at the Learning Forward Foundation. In this journey, we have learned much more than we can possibly teach, but perhaps the most important lesson we imbibed is that conversations, however incident or improbable, can lead to change. That's why we are here. And small changes can have a ripple effect with significant impact. This book is also an attempt to acknowledge all those who walked with us as we followed and enabled a path. Fitting the path was imagined by Shomie Das, the man who saw tomorrow. You can refer to the acknowledgements in your own time. I will close the cover of the book and I will bow down to everyone who was with us in this book and this journey. Thank you so much. It's been a beautiful read. We started this book around Children's Day in November. So, in just about 3 months, from one retreat to the other, we are done with the book. So, there is hope that on this retreat, which is happening in April, we'll open the pages of another book. And by the end of the year, 2025, we'll complete it. Prem Chand says, thank you to everyone. Thank you so much. God bless you. It's been joyous being with you all. Thank you, Kritika. Thank you, Prem Chand ji, for writing your good words. It's been wonderful, and I've enjoyed every word I've read to you. It's just been such an honor and privilege to read a book to the teachers. And I hope you'll have takeaways. This year we would have actually finished 3 books with you. So remember, people who didn't have time, you will end up finishing 3 books with us. We are reading this book on Friday. It's called Growing Knowledge Friday. We are reading this book on Saturday. It's your masterclass. This book is purely on professional learning. It has fantastic ideas on how you can change the way we learn or the way you learn. And above all, this book gives you practically what's happening in your school. So please come whenever you can. And if for reason you can't make it, I just want to tell you where to go. And if you missed the session and if you want the other teachers to actually have the liberty and fun, then it's very simple. All you need to do is go to YouTube. Our channel is at My Good School, and you will find all the master classes in the videos there. The entire masterclass series, which we started from the last retreat, we've actually put in the video library. In 2024, we had a whole lot of other masterclass sessions with the Sunbeam schools. They're all there. The teachers made the content, which is all there. So the whole library here of 400 plus videos. Let me show you more about this video channel. Yeah. So these are the stats here. We have 425 videos and we have 300 podcasts. So if you miss the session, don't worry. You know where to go. Just head to My Good School. Thank you, my panelists. I love you all, how you all come every week, thanklessly, just for the pure joy of reading. Bless you, Kunal. Bless you, Manisha. And bless you, Gurdeep. Keep up your good work. And Gurdeep, promise you're not going away. You'll do this book. Say yes.
Yeah, I have started reading.
Pinky promise.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so it's a very nice book. So next time we'll talk about it. Maybe you can write something about the book in the WhatsApp chat to encourage people to come. Just write something about the book in the WhatsApp chat. Don't create a
Yes.
post.
Mhm.
As to why you feel that this book makes a little bit of sense. You may decide to do some internet research on it or pick up something from the blurb or whatever. Just write
Yeah.
something to encourage people why productive failure unpacks the science and theory. And yes, Manu Kapoor will come. We are working on the logistics, how he'll spend an evening with us. Please meet him. And if all goes well, we are working on a method where we can get books signed for you from the author, provided we can get copies of the books which you're trying to get. So far, the book was only available in US. It's just come to India. So book is hard to get. It's available on Amazon. Please pick it up from there. After that, we will see how we can help you. And please, 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 please read, 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 and read. Only then will you reflect. Only then you'll sit here comfortably without distractions. In these 45 minutes, I have not looked at my phone even once. And I'm sure all those people who don't have cameras on most of them looked at your phones. Now, this is where the correction lies. Your heart and soul must be together in unison in what you do. On that note, bless you. See you at the masterclass next Saturday when we join you from the retreat and we open the pages of productive failure. I'm ending here. Khuda Hafiz. God bless. Bye bye. Namaskar. Jai Hind.